All right, Kingsman,
Box, you
All right,
turn your mic on.
throw it in again.
all right, this is, September
Lily.
30th at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, Brown County Election
Shadow
Board.
box.
I'm calling the meeting to order, please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Be seated.
Well, see here.
Okay. The purpose of this meeting today is to consider the public's written comments to the board's proposed vote center plan. That was presented and approved August 28th, 2025. And to allow any final public comments from the floor for anyone who has not already made comments. And consider whether the public's comments require modification to the proposed vote center plan as part of the final vote center plan, if such modification is required, or if some such comments are sufficient to change the mind of one or more members of the election board, given that the proposed vote center plan was unanimously adopted. Right, so how many comments do we have for the leader?
I believe it's 12 or 13.
Okay, I'm going to read into the record each one of these written comments, and these written comments will be attached to the minutes of this meeting. I read these into the record since everyone else that has previously commented has been on the record, and this will bring the written comments all together. So this is from Leah Baker, 1598 Curly Shingles Road in Nashville. Good afternoon. I am writing as a Nashville resident in support of voting centers over precinct voting. The fewer barriers there are to voting, the better constituents are able to exercise their civic duty. Voting should be as least restrictive as possible while maintaining integrity. Sincerely, Leah Baker. By the way, I haven't seen these before right now, so if I stumble, you'll have to give me a break. This is from Gary Hewitt. I'm in favor of voting centers. Signed, Gary Hewitt. From Brenda Krieger. Just writing to let you know that I think the Brown County vote centers are a good idea. Brenda Krieger, 5545 Carmel Ridge Road. This is from Kathleen Shortridge. I attended the election board meeting when this proposal was presented, and I have reviewed the proposal online. It is an excellent proposal. It appears to meet or exceed all statutory requirements for such centers. The proposed vote centers are carefully chosen to provide a good geographic spread and to meet the many standards set for a building where voting takes place. I like the fact that some of the centers are in schools. That may get students more interested in elections and even encourage some high school students to participate in the Hoosier Hall Pass program to work the polls. This new system promises much greater convenience for Brown County voters. Voters will be able to go to the nearest center at the time they choose to vote and will no longer have to rush back from work, shopping, or recreation to their home precinct. The system may even increase voter turnout and save money once it is established. After the proposal is approved, publicity will be very important. I'm sure there will always be a few voters who don't get the word when polling places change. In the long run, I believe that this will be a very popular system. The election board is to be complimented on its fine work. Kathleen Shortridge, 4630 Eidolon Drive, Unionville, Indiana, and her precinct is Jackson 4. This is from James Nelson. This is to express my full support for Brown County to move forward with vote centers. James Nelson, 20 South Sycamore Lane, Unit B, Nashville. This is from Marilyn Day. Please allow all voters an opportunity to vote by letting voters go to any voting center in Brown County. This avoids miscommunication for all. Maryland Day, 436 Pine Ridge Road. Julia Spangler. I'm writing a public comment in favor of the vote center plan. I think vote centers will be more convenient for the voters of Brown County and will improve voter turnout. Thank you, Julia Spangler, 4800 Possum Trot Road, Unionville, Indiana. Marion Bonshoff. Hello, I live at 204 Tuckaway Ridge Drive in Nashville. I support the proposed new voting centers and agree that it will facilitate increased access to the polls. I was a poll worker during the May and November elections and was surprised at the number of people who came to the wrong precinct. Although we told them the right place to go, some of them were late in the day and couldn't get there in time. Voting centers would have benefited those folks and in turn, the entire county. It's time to join the other counties that have already established voting centers. Thank you, Marion Bonshoff, Nashville. Brown County Public Survey on Vote Centers, public comment. These are the drafting guides. Let's see. This is from Laura Blackthorn. She is in support of vote centers, allowing voters to vote in any center in the county election day. In 2026, how do you plan to vote? And she marks in person on election day at either a vote center or my designated precinct as allowed. Third question is, if vote centers are approved, which of the 5 proposed locations are you most likely to use on election day? And she checks Helmsburg Elementary School, 5378 Helmsburg School Road, Morgantown, Indiana, 46160. The next question is, what is the distance from your residence to the precinct where you voted on election day 2024? And she puts in 2 miles. What is the distance from your residence to the nearest proposed vote center location? If vote centers are not approved, the proposed vote center locations could be used as poll locations for designated precincts. So it is helpful to know distances residents may travel to vote in person on election day. And she writes 1 mile. If vote centers are adopted, which vote center will be the most convenient for you on election day? And she marks the choices are closest to work, closest to home, or other, and she marks closest to home. Next item. By Indiana law, Brown County is only required to have 2 vote centers on election day. Based on population, how many vote centers do you think Brown County needs? And the choices are 5, less than 5, or more than 5. And she says, she marks 5 and says the 5 proposed locations provide adequate coverage for Brown County. I will say that the public comment drafting guides are, were not were not drafted by the election board.
No, they were not. I don't know where she found that format.
But, in any event, I think she is much in favor of vote centers. The next letter is from Sherry Frank to the Brown County Election Board. I'm writing to express personal support for adopting vote centers in Brown County. Allowing all Brown County voters to cast a vote at any center in the county on election day should eliminate the disenfranchisement of some voters that occurs each election for voting at the wrong precinct. The Brown County Election Board's efforts to offer vote centers to Brown County are appreciated. As with any new undertaking, it will be important to monitor implementation and continuously look for opportunities to improve the process. A few items for consideration are listed here and discussed below. 1, vote center staffing. 2, vote center locations. And 3, notifying voters of changes. 1, vote center staffing. Please consider adding 2 additional clerks at each center and clearly defining clerks' duties to avoid question or overlap. When staff have more than one duty, there is increased opportunity for error. Currently, staffing of vote centers is listed in the plan as 1 inspector, 2 judges, 4 poll clerks, 2 greeters. Other than inspector, all roles are equally represented by 2 political parties. Since ballot initialing takes place at different times, different stations for hand-marked ballots versus freedom vote ballots, it could help foolproof the initialing process if an additional station is added with 2 more clerks. Ballot on demand paper ballots get initialed before a voter makes a mark. Freedom vote ballots are initialed after a voter prints the completed ballot. Adding 2 additional clerks could help ensure all ballots are initialed as required by law. During early in-person voting, absence of initials automatically invalidates the ballot, disenfranchising the voter. On election day, while acceptance of ballots missing initials has more discretion, it might cause ballot rejection in the event of a recount. And I disagree with that. It would not. Expecting clerks at one station to monitor initialing at different stages, different stations could lead to confusion and error. In the past, freedom vote machines have rarely been utilized on election day. However, if freedom vote machines are now being offered all voters, it is possible there will be a significant increase. If so, stations should be clearly defined to ensure all ballots receive required initials. Here is an example of how stations, clerks, and judges could be differentiated to clarify responsibilities. Electronic poll check-in. 2 clerks check voter ID on electric poll booth. Print ballot on demand, give to voter and send to station 2 for initials. B, or give voter their check-in receipt and send to station 3 for freedom vote and initials. Station 2, initial or ballot on demand paper ballots. Following poll book check-in, 2 clerks initial the ballot on demand paper ballot and direct voters to privacy kiosks to vote. When voters complete their ballot, clerks direct voters to the scan machine. Station 3, freedom vote. Following poll book check-in, 2 clerks use check-in receipt to help voters start freedom vote. A, clerks hold check-in receipt until voter finishes. B, when voter finishes and prints ballot, clerks stamp the ballot and clerk initials and clerk insignia and both clerks initial. Clerks direct voters to scan machine. Clerks file voter receipt in designated place. Judges are then left to perform their duties such as A, assist voters as needed, B, monitor optical scanners, including possibly verifying ballots, have clerk initials before ballots are inserted, C, monitor success of ballots cast, helping resolve issues, and D, assist inspectors as needed with provisional ballots. 2, vote center locations. The Brown County Election Board has worked diligently to identify 5 locations for vote centers that appear to provide access countywide. Since Indiana law mandates only 2 vote centers for the population of Brown County, I have been proud that the election board opted instead to provide representative coverage with 5 locations. At least one voter has suggested an additional center on the east side would reduce travel distance for some residents. Increasing the number and location of centers may be worth future exploration based on additional voter feedback and turnout. I encourage the election board to maintain at least the number of vote centers currently proposed and to consider any additional centers warranted in future. 3, notifying voters of change. I encourage the election board to notify all voters of changes that are finalized for the 2026 election, including voting locations, whether vote centers or precincts, precinct changes, and county council and county commissioner district changes. I might note that Ms. Frank was a member of the study committee and was at the table when the proposed vote center plan was approved unanimously by the study committee. So she has a very fertile mind, and she has suggestions that can be looked at in the future. But it's important to note, I think, that she did vote for the plan as it stands. This is from D. McGarrell. Being fairly new to living in a very rural area, we would like to urge our election board to approve the proposed 5 voting centers in Brown County. Through the last 7 years of voting here, we have had to travel to 4 different locations, depending if we voted early at a central location or day of in our specific precinct. While we are used to traveling 20 to 40 minutes for groceries, gas, etc., it is still somewhat confusing and inconvenient. Having the 5 locations to choose from will allow people, even us happily retired, to stop into our nearest location while running those daily errands or going to and from work or volunteer family obligations. Our Church of the Lakes Hamblin 3 location is on a frequent route for us, and many others working 9 to 5, whether jumping on or off I-65, heading to Franklin or Columbus for shopping, etc. But if we happen to feel like lunching or shopping in Nashville that day, it will be nice to stop at Sprunica Elementary School along the way or the Education Services Center in town to cast our vote. Having fewer poll workers will also make it seem much more secure with less chance of error or fraud. We appreciate your efforts to make voting easier, not harder, here in beautiful Brown County, Indiana. Sincerely, Donna and Ed McGarrell, 7980 Falcon Drive, Nineveh, Indiana. This is from Kathy Roundtree. I support vote centers as a way to better utilize limited resources for elections and to make it easier for voters to participate in elections. This would also correct the reason for many rejected ballots in Brown County. It will be very important that going forward, the vote centers are well distributed through the county to assure convenient access and full representation. Thank you for your work in taking this initiative forward. Catherine Roundtree, 1354 Tulip Tree Road, Nashville. And finally, this is from Brenda Kelly, Nashville, Indiana. From my personal observations, voting centers would be beneficial to our voters. While working in the 2024 election, several people arrived at my precinct and they were actually scheduled to vote in another precinct. The voters were either on their lunch hour or on their way to work, and this was the only time they could cast their ballot. Needless to say, they were discouraged and irritated primarily to the fact that they had voted at this location prior and not advised of a change of precinct. Voting centers would eliminate confusion. Signed, Brenda Kelly. All right, those are the comments. Now, does anyone? We've had three meetings, public meetings where we have invited people to make their positions known. We have received these written comments over the period of 30 days. And is there anyone here that has any comments that we've not already heard that you think need to be heard? Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Joy, you'll need to turn the mic on. Thank you.
They turned it on already.
You did?
That's
Okay.
You get 2 minutes. Go ahead.
Okay, Joy Martin, Dean by address.
Yes, ma'am,
5301
please.
Harrison Ridge Road. And I just have a question, and that is and this is about e-poll books essentially, right?
About what?
E-poll books,
Okay.
because they're required for vote centers. If they are determined to be uncertifiable, do we have a way to go back to paper? Do you have a plan for that?
What do you mean if they are determined to be uncertifiable?
Through the certification process, if that's determined that they are not certifiable, are we prepared to go back to the paper poll books?
I think the answer is no. We would sell the sell the electronic poll books that we have. This is, I think I speak for this board, that we have together with the render on demand attachments, which are very, very valuable. And then the county would buy new or used certified poll books.
And if they are all deemed uncertifiable across the board,
Then we will do whatever every other county in the state of Indiana does, according to whatever the General Assembly says we must then do.
okay, thank you.
The short answer though is our poll books our vendor has already been certified by the state of Indiana.
Anything else? I appreciate that question. All right. The chair notes that there is no run on the public speaking microphone. So does anyone, either of you all, have you, either of you all heard anything today that causes, that makes it necessary to either amend the proposed vote center plan or to disregard the proposed vote center plan?
No.
So do I have, do I have a motion that after considering all the comments heard today or read today, the proposed vote center plan should not be modified substantively?
I will make that motion.
Mr. Kelly makes that motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Is there any discussion? There being no discussion, I'll call for a vote. Mr. Williams votes aye on the motion. Mr. Kelly?
Aye.
Ms. Banks?
Aye.
So the motion passes and the decision of the board is that the proposed vote center plan should not be modified substantively. I think I said substantially. I meant to say substantively. So that being the case, I will this afternoon prepare the final vote center plan document for action by the board at a meeting at 9 a.m. in the morning, October the 1st, 2025, here in the Salmon Room as previously advertised. This will include the final, I will include in the final order procedural authority for Ms. Banks to collect the approvals of the commissioners and the council and append them to the already executed final order. And then without further action of the board, deliver the fully executed and approved final vote center plan to the Indiana Election Division. That will all be in the final order, which will contain the final vote center plan. Is there any other business to come before the election board?
Yes.
Then the meeting is adjourned.
Easy, short and sweet. Yeah. That's what we like. That's what I say. We're all that. Oh, with Mr. Nice. Get a burger. You missed all the phone, though. Oh, so you can just ask for conference. I made. Thank you. Going to be on the package lecture for is the second. Well. Money's out to together. And then it's for us, though.